Hey everyone, welcome back to Behind the Crew. On today's episode, I have Austin Holman. And in today's episode, he explains a little bit of each role of the audio department. And we talk about what his typical day is on set. And then we also talk about investing in yourself. Enjoy today's episode. Today's episode, I got I don't know why I did that. You want to start off with your you want to start off with your name and what you do for a living?
Yeah, man. So I'm Austin, and I am a sound mixer. Yeah.
So what does that entail exactly? Like, what is your basic like everyday job when you're on set?
When I'm doing sound mixer stuff, I am really just responsible for recording everything that we shoot, I guess, as far as if there's voices needed, if there's dialogue.
And you're more towards the I'm assuming you're more towards the reality-based sound mixing, or do you do a little bit of like Foley or...
No, I'd like to kind of get into that. I would actually really like to get into Foley. That's super cool. But mostly, as far as sound mixing, reality, and then like I do some scripted stuff, but I'm usually like a boom op for that.
And what is the exact difference between like a sound mixer and a boom operator and like an A1 and an A2? Can you explain a little bit?
I guess they're kind of like in different fields, I guess. Kind of like sound mixer for reality, you're kind of just doing it all. You're like one man banding it, really. So you're booming and mixing. But like for scripted stuff, it's a little bit more like specific job, I guess. Like sound mixer, they're pretty much really just recording and making sure all the takes are right. Like it's a lot more I don't know.
It's like a lot more in depth when you as far as like organizing and
yeah, it's a little bit
getting the picks down.
Yeah, exactly.
Okay.
And then boom op, depending on the budget of whatever you're working on, there's either like a boom op and a utility, or boom op is both. And that you're pretty much miking people up and just and booming everything.
So there's a strict difference between a boom operator and then a field mixer.
Yeah.
In a sense where if you're a field mixer, you're mixing and booming at the same time, and you have the mixer on you.
Mm-hmm.
And then a boom operator is just you holding the boom out there, and
you're just booming.
You have the A1 in there mixing and making sure all the levels are good.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, you usually have like a receiver on you just to hear like your own boom.
Yeah.
That's it.
Oh, okay. So that's, because I was trying to make sure there was a clear difference and people knew that, because last week we had a lecturer on, and she's an A2, and she basically said that her role as an A2, she explained quite a bit. She explained that an A2 is essentially an AC for audio.
Mm-hmm.
So like, would you agree?
Yeah,
okay,
definitely.
Yeah. So they're in charge of miking people up and making sure the bats are good, and then all the freaks are good and all that stuff.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, kind of setting everything up for everybody, and they're kind of like the hands.
Yeah. Okay.
I guess like that I forgot about A1 and A2. I feel like that's more of like I don't know. They're all the same thing really, but like I always hear A1 and A2 more like in sports and reality stuff.
Oh, gotcha.
So yeah, but like exactly like she said, like you're just kind of doing everything for the A1 or the sound mixer, whoever that is.
Okay, so there's a little difference between reality and sports as opposed to scripted. In a sense, to like A1 or A2s aren't usually there. They're like utility or something like that.
For sports?
For like scripted.
Oh yeah.
So there's usually not in A2 there?
It's either boom up or utility.
Oh, okay. Oh, and they're the ones that usually do the bolt jobs if it's like a scripted thing.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
But yeah, it's all the same stuff. I mean.
Gotcha. Yeah, I personally didn't know that either. I know there was a lot of jobs when it came to audio, but I wasn't really aware of what all the roles were and what they all actually did.
Yeah, and then like if there was, I've only ever worked on one a project or whatever that where we've been able to have like a 3-man crew, and so that was like mixer, boom up, and utility. And utility, they do you moving the equipment around, micing people, like all that stuff, and then boom up literally is just you're just booming. That's all.
Just right there and just booming.
Yeah, that's it. Like it was pretty cool. Because you get to be like a little more involved in like the scene that's going down. So like every time you set up for a new one, it's like the boom op, you go over there and like figure out like, okay, what are the camera angles and like, you know, what's the action, what's everybody's lines, so you can like, you know, dance around with them because you're like in there in the scene with them pretty much. Yeah,
because you're in their space with them and you get to dance with them a little bit, right?
Yeah, it's pretty fun.
Yeah, that's actually pretty cool. So, did you have a job before you got into production, the film industry, or?
Yeah, I was like
a regular 9-to-5 one.
Yeah, I did a bunch of weird things, I guess. Like I was like an EMT for a little bit. I wanted to be a firefighter. I had like a little like business of my own with my friend for a couple years out in Flagstaff. And yeah, just like random jobs like that. I would say the biggest thing was like EMT though.
I mean, what drew your attention to being an EMT at the time?
It was just like a good job, kind of like as far as being like a firefighter, you work 20 and then you get your retirement. Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, yeah, exactly. Like after 20, you can get retired or whatever. And then, and then the schedule of it all. Yeah. Like work 3 days, off 2 or whatever.
Yeah.
So I like that. That was really a big thing that drove me to it, was a schedule. And I just kind of liked that stuff, I guess, kind of back in the day. Like I went to college right out of high school for like exercise science. And yeah.
So it's pretty funny. There's a couple of people I know that before they got into this field, they wanted to do something along the lines of firefighter or EMT or
really?
police. And it's all weird because like coming into this field, at least the scheduling wise, the day-to-day scheduling wise is kind of the same.
Yeah.
And like to the point where like you're working 10 to 15, 16 hours a day.
Yeah.
So it's weird how you still manage to get into that role a little bit.
I think it's like, yeah, I don't know. Like, I feel like you just have to work pretty hard in that profession too. And like, if you're a hard worker, I feel like you get farther. You know, It's better to be a hard worker in this. It pays off, I guess. People like notice it, you know, and
yeah, exactly. And I like. I mean, and then you just. I mean, you like doing it, right?
This?
Yeah.
Oh,
you love
it,
doing this.
Yeah.
It's something that you actually enjoy doing.
Yeah.
So it's not really work.
Yeah, it's something I don't mind spending 16 hours at if I have to.
And it's funny because that's what I talk about too with everybody, and it's nice to hear that everybody that's in this industry is in it because they love doing it.
Yeah, I think that's really cool, man. Yeah, exactly. It's fun just to be around people who are, you know, like that, like-minded kind of.
Yeah. All the weirdos.
Exactly, dude. Like, as soon as I got into it, like, I was like, oh, man, I found, like, my people. Like, they're all, you know, everybody's kind of similar, but also different, but have that same kind of, like, core, I don't know, work ethic and being weird.
Yeah.
And everybody's cool with it, you know. That's the best part.
So how did you get into wanting to become in the industry?
So yeah, I was just kind of floating around, man, I was doing the EMT thing, and then I was like, all right, this is not for me. Like, I want to help people and stuff, but it was a little like grimy, and I was like, okay, that's a little too intense. And then so I like moved back home for a while and was just kind of like trying to figure shit out, and I ended up through like since high school or whatever, I was always just messing around with like music and like messing around on my keyboard with like GarageBand and shit. And like that's kind of how I like failed out of college when I first went. I just like stayed in my room messing around on my computer instead of going to class. So after all this shit, like that's always been kind of like my passion.
Yeah.
But everybody's like my parents are like, oh no, you gotta like, you know, to do this certain thing or whatever. And I was like, okay, well I'll try. And it wasn't really going anywhere. I wasn't happy, I guess. And so then I just started volunteering at like this radio station back home. And that was pretty cool. Like they kind of just let me go in there and like I would just open mail for them. And just kind of annoyed them like until they were like, okay, we'll like give you something else to do, you know. I feel like with this too, I mean, it was kind of like the same industry. But yeah, just annoy somebody like who will let you annoy them, and then, you know, kind of like, okay, well now how about I don't know what else I could do. Like they would do like a live like a little live show of a local band every Monday.
Yeah.
They would do like the live band. That was pretty cool because it was like the radio, the studio, and then they had like a little live room. Mm-hmm. And like it was like, you know, a whole bunch of different like types of local bands or bands just passing through town. And that was where I really like kind of found out that I liked like recording and all like the different like microphone. Like I always liked recording, but I never knew like how
in depth it was.
Yeah, exactly. And it's like, oh man, like it actually takes like a good amount to like, you know, put this out onto the air and like with all the bands and stuff. And so so I got to help out with that, and then like I got my own like little radio show, which wasn't really a radio show, but it was just like me playing music like from 2 to 5 in the morning or whatever. So that shit was cool. But you know, I got to like be on a board, and that's kind of like where I was just like, man, I really like this shit.
Yeah.
And
did you get to pick your own music when you were doing that?
Yeah, I did.
Nice.
Yeah, it was like at first they were like, well, you know, you should play like. It's like this is called the Overnight, and so like the radio station kind of had like a little bit of what they wanted to play, but like the cool thing about that station was there was like, you know, just a whole bunch of little mini shows throughout the day and like on different days.
Yeah,
and they kind of did their own thing, like, you know, just weird music. And so I was like, well, can I just play like whatever I want? And they're like, all right, yeah, go ahead and like, you know, make your own thing out of it. So I just played like a bunch of weird electronic music and just kind of like, I don't know, like down tempo weird stuff in the early morning. Yeah. It was cool.
That's cool. So you went to college, but you didn't go to college for. You just went to college for.
Yeah, I went to for exercise science and didn't do that. So anyway, sorry. So I get really distracted. So that happened with the radio thing. And then so I was like, well, maybe I just really want to like do something with it. So I like looked up this school for recording, and it was called like CRAS out in Phoenix. And it was just like a strictly audio tech school kind of thing, like a year program. And so I ended up just going there, and they kind of taught me. It was just all recording. It's like, all right, mostly it was studio recording. But there was a lot of, then there was like there was like 1 week on like film, and it was like, okay, here's how you like send to a camera, here's a slate, that's it, cool, we're done. But then they did like a lot of like sports stuff and live sound, so there was just like all like kind of the different disciplines of audio, I guess. We kind of learned about them, and so that was really cool. I learned a lot in that school.
Yeah, that's cool. You had like a bunch of different. It was the different types of audio. You had the film and TV, and then sports. And
yeah, like we got to go like check out a NASCAR event in Arizona one time, and that was really cool just to see, you know, what really goes into it, and then just kind of like hang out with the mixer while he's like mixing for TV.
Yeah, that
was pretty wild. Yeah, because you have like, you know, people yelling at you on the radios, and I was like, wow, this is gnarly.
It's intense.
Yeah, it was pretty cool. And yeah, and then there, like I was telling you, like when I came into this industry, like if like, you know, felt like, oh man, these are my people. Like there too, I was like, holy crap, these are like, everybody else was just fucking around with audio their whole lives too, you know, like, and so it was cool. So I met a lot of cool people there and did that, and then I had to, the last like 3 months of the school was like, you got to find an internship somewhere, and but you had to like move there first. And so it was either like here or LA, because I had people I knew that lived here. and the LA thing didn't work out, and so I moved here because I wanted to do live sound.
Yeah.
And so so I moved here, and they kind of like, the school didn't really help me out with like finding. They should have just said, if you go to LA, we'll help you out, but if anywhere else, you're kind of SOL. Yeah. But so I started working out. I work at 3G and like just these random like stage crew companies, and was kind of doing that for a little bit, and then just trying to find somewhere to do an internship, but nobody really had one, and I found like a location sound place. And they were just like, yeah, you could come hang out at the shop if you want and like fuck around. And so I found like new people to annoy, and then I guess kind of taught me the ways.
And that's how you, and from working at 3G and all those types of places, that's how you were able to get into like the TV show part of it. Yeah.
Well, no, they really didn't. No. I was like telling them like, yo, I do audio, you know. And they're like, oh yeah, we'll teach, you know, you got to take a class or whatever if you want to do. It's like, okay, but I already like, that's my thing. I know how to do it. And, but no, so then that place that I found though, it was Stickman Sound. And,
gotcha.
Yeah. And so, you know, that's what I say. Like I just annoyed them at the shop, learned the gear, and then they kind of just put me like, I did like a PA gig for them. And then, just kind of met people from there.
And then so you were instantly just able to get in, right? From Stickman, you were able to stick with Stickman for a bit, and then through them helping you out, you were able to that's how you were able to get in.
Yeah, just network from there.
Yeah. You know? So you just said it, but I don't know how much of it you actually did. So you when you got into the industry, you started off as a PA for a little bit, or was it just that one job?
I did one PA gig, and that was it. And then
you blew past that, and you were into mixing.
I did not mixing. I started recently, like doing mixing fairly recently, like a year, I would say. But no, I did that, and then this like feature came through, or it wasn't even here. It was like in Arizona, but somebody had asked, you know, them like, hey, do you know anybody who wants to do like this crappy boom up gig for like a month or two? That was like 3 weeks or something.
Yeah.
And so they're like, oh yeah, you know, this dude Austin's always at the shop. Hey, you want to do this thing? It's like, yeah, sure. Like I had never like boomed in my life, and it was like
nice.
Yeah. So then from there, that's kind of where I met some more people and got a lot of experience booming, and I don't know. Got a lot more experience doing that, and that kind of just, you know, just networking really from there. I mean,
yeah.
But I was mostly just booming a lot, and then like A2'd for a good while. And then just kind of slowly, like, you know, knowing people, and it's like, hey, you know, you know how to mix, like I can't do a day, you want to do this day? And it's like, yeah. And then so just kind of like slowly
got into finally being able to stick where you want to be at.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's just like, it's really just networking, man. I'd say it's like, oh yeah, so-and-so knows how to mix. It's like, hey, you want to do this? Yep, okay. And like, you know,
yeah,
it's kind of go on from there.
Yeah, it's what I've been hearing a lot is you just need to make sure to network and branch out.
Mm-hmm.
So is being a sound mixer ultimately at the end of the day, is that what you want to be doing, or is there
some form of sound mixing?
Is there like a higher up to that?
I don't know. I don't really know if I want to like soup shows and stuff. That sounds intense.
Yeah.
Like it's cool. I don't really know what my end goal is. Like definitely this for, I don't know, some form of recording sound wherever it may be. As I get older, probably somewhere behind a desk or something. But
I mean, but as of right now, you're where you want to be at.
Yeah.
That's good.
I would say so. Yeah, I'm just always trying to kind of anything with sound. I'll try and do it. Like it's all fun for me.
Yeah.
You know?
I mean, at least you're happy with it. There's a lot of people. There's a lot of other people I know that are in jobs that they don't like at all and they hate it.
Yeah.
So not in the film industry, but in their regular 9 to 5.
Oh yeah, right. I mean, yeah. I don't know if I could do a 9 to 5 job.
Yeah, I've already explained I can't. So.
Yeah, I don't think I could either.
So the typical day for a sound mixer, like if you're on a reality show, would essentially be like what? Like what are the steps there?
You got to get it, everything freaked out, which just depends on the size of the shoot you're doing, I guess. But yeah, like on a reality show, just make sure all your freaks are good, everything.
And the frequencies are just the things that are on your mics.
Yeah, your transmission frequencies, I guess, and that's like a big part of it. I mean, because if you don't have good RF, then like you're gonna have a bad day.
Yeah.
So you want that like as solid as possible, and then you do your walk tests and everything. And then also time code. Time code's like another huge. That's like your god, pretty much, I guess.
Yeah.
Like, you just make sure everything's sync up and everything with cameras, and then you tone them out. Which is making sure like the volume on your mixer and the volume on the camera are the same ish.
Oh, or equivalent to what's getting produced on there.
Yeah, exactly. So you're not like blowing out the camera feed.
Yeah.
And then just make sure your time code is sunk with the cameras, whichever ones you're taking care of, and record. Or I guess mic people up, and then
And I mean, every now and then you'll have like a crazy day, or you'll have a super chill and easy day.
Yeah.
I mean, what are the differences between a chill day and a crazy day for you on set?
A chill day is MOS. No, I don't know. A chill day is like everything just kind of goes right. A bad day would be, you're having RF issues, or there's just something that isn't working right. Because I don't know, there's sometimes things just like bug out, and you're like, oh, it's never done that before. I don't know.
Yeah.
I've never seen that in my life. Or just a really long day. Like for some of the scripted stuff, that can get pretty intense as far as just like time, because like everybody's like so freaking crunched for time, and it's like, okay, and then they never think about audio usually as far as like how long it's going to take to mic. Like it's like, okay, we have like 30 minutes to like switch over this set or whatever and go to the next scene, and then like we got 6 people doing wardrobe changes, and it's like, and you need to like be ready to go in like 15-20 minutes or whatever, and it's like, all right, not those times exactly, but like just not having enough time in those situations.
Yeah.
Especially when there's like different wardrobes or like tricky wardrobes, it's like you can, just not having time can make it crappy.
Make it a pretty crappy time.
Yeah.
And for RF, is there always a way to fix RF, all the frequencies going on? Or are there some times where you're just like, there's nothing we can do about it?
Yeah, sometimes that's where the old boom just comes in handy. It's like, hard line, no wireless. Dude, I don't know. Like it's just whatever's in the air, whatever it could be. I don't know. I'm not super savvy on it. That's something I'm trying to learn a lot more about. But like I went, I was out one time in like, where were we? In South Carolina or something, like out in the middle of like nowhere, like farmland. And we got there and everything was cool. And then like, of course, like right before we're shooting, like all like, I don't know what turned on out there. Somebody turned on some giant freaking microwave or something, and like all the RF just went to crap. And of course, it was like right before we're shooting. So it was like,
of course,
none of them work, man. So I was like, okay, like, hey guys, just audio has a problem. I gotta fix some stuff real quick, and but then it worked. Like I just had to rescan and do a whole nother like coordination, I guess, to get new freaks.
I've never understood. I'm still trying to understand that a little bit. I've heard you might be able to help me out. I heard there's a couple frequencies that you're just not allowed to touch.
Yeah, there's like FCC regulations on, like they'll tell you like, you can't broadcast on this block because they bought it or whatever.
Yeah. See, like as a person, well, I mean, a sound mixer and A2, just being the sound department and like in the film industry and reality industry, like you guys all know that. But like, what if some random person was like, or even me, for instance, was like shooting something and I had transmitters on my people and I just happened to have them on that block.
Yeah, I
didn't know.
I don't know how they catch you with it. Like, I think maybe like an FCC person has to like come up and be like, "You're broadcasting on."
That's so weird.
Or I guess they could see you like pop up on whoever the hell is monitoring those types of things, and I don't know how they would find you, but
I mean, I can imagine that they wouldn't. I don't know. I guess you can. I mean, the only thing I can think of is like you get a warning for it because someone like me.
You're like, I didn't know, dude.
I'm like, I don't know what I didn't know that there's a frequency that I'm not allowed to be on.
Somebody just gave me this transmitter and it works.
And they're like, this is how you check the frequencies.
Yeah,
like,
it's
they
like
didn't tell me the part where there's one that's I'm not allowed to use.
It's like not one. It's like there's like
it's like a batch of them, right?
Yeah, there's like blocks of them. So it's like, oh, you can't use block 25 or I don't know, whatever.
Yeah, that's just so weird.
But
like
I wonder
like a
that
government
too.
thing, right?
Yeah.
Okay.
I wonder how they catch you too. Like, how are they really gonna know you're?
Yeah.
I guess. Yeah. I don't even know, because then even once you do it, and it's all said and done, they can't like check. Were you recording on block 25 or?
Yeah, I mean, technically, there's no way of even seeing it, even if you did record on that frequency.
No.
Yeah.
Maybe just like some airplanes might crash or something. I don't know.
Yeah.
I'm just kidding.
Well,
yeah, it's not the same ranges.
I was gonna say that's a little bad, but
No, I don't think that happens.
And you get so you get picked on, not you, just you, but sound department gets picked on a lot.
Yeah, it seems to be that way.
There's so many jokes I know about the sound department because I'm in the camera department, so it's just funny. Like, we all love each other, but it's always busting each other's balls, and we don't get to. I don't think I've ever heard audio jokes for camera guys.
I don't really
I guess
know,
you guys
dude.
don't really do the busting of the balls.
No,
we're
just like quiet, chill people. Seem like, yeah, fuck you, man.
There's always the whole waiting on audio and
I know,
all that stuff.
That's always the competition. Who's gonna finish first, and who's gonna be waiting on who. And
it's funny because I always see a couple of people when they're like waiting on audio, and then the camera goes down, and then I just see audio people just grinning at me, like, and I'm like, "Hey, man, I'm not in this fight." I like everybody here.
Oh yeah, man, that is funny. It is. It seems like. Yeah, like audio. I think it's just because like it's such a like invisible kind of, like you can't see it, so everybody's like, "Oh, it just happens." It's like,
yeah.
So whenever we like, yo, I need like 5 minutes. Like, what for? What, man? Like, what are you? It's like, come on, man, just give me 5 minutes. Give me 2 minutes.
And that's the thing that we were talking about earlier before we started today. And I was like, I knew audio was hard, but now that like I'm doing this podcast, I was like, it is fucking extremely hard.
Yeah.
Because I personally, I need to like actually see what I'm doing.
Mm-hmm.
And, I can see the levels going over here, and I can see everything, but also, you seeing levels doesn't mean shit.
Yeah.
So, like, there's the arming of the track, and then the recording, and then you gotta check you gotta check your levels, and then the whole editing of the audio, and making sure that it's broadcasted correctly to wherever you're casting it to.
Yeah.
So, like, I never gave audio people shit for anything they do because I know everything on set is hard as shit, but I just didn't know how hard audio was.
Yeah.
So I give you guys props for that for sure.
Thanks, man.
Because you guys are just hearing it. You guys don't actually get to see like a frame or anything.
Yeah.
All you do is hear everything, and then you just see two little levels going back and forth.
Yeah.
So yeah, I gotta give you props on that because I can't do that. That's why I got into camera, because I like seeing it, seeing a problem. That's
like, and then that's another thing too, dude. That like camera language. That's a whole. I don't know what you guys talk about when you're like, yeah, let me, I don't even know. Like, a bunch of numbers and stops. And I'm like, yeah, you do that.
Yeah, that'll work. Just do something like that.
But it's all really cool, man. Like, what was I going to say though?
Oh, we were talking about camera busting each other's balls.
No, it's something you just said right now.
Frequencies.
Man.
Camera gets to see stuff, audio doesn't.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, it's just like there is like visual metering with it too, but yeah, like one of the big things I have to work on too is like critical listening, like making sure, like, oh shit, there's like a buzzing in the background. But like when I first started, it was like I was just so focused like on their voice, like making sure there was no like scratching or whatever, like making sure that sounded good. But then you also got to like listen to like the background, and make sure that sounds okay. But yeah,
it's just crazy. Like, yeah, the voices might be great in the audio track, and then you deep dive a little bit into more and you try to isolate the background, and then you try to take out the background and you can't do it without ruining the voice, and it's like,
exactly,
damn, dude. So yeah, like I said before, I give you props on the audio department. I'm still learning that. I'm still trying to learn just the fucking basics of it. So it's definitely really hard.
I would say, like gain staging, that's probably like the biggest thing. Like you were talking about like, oh, like it sounds good, but like the levels are too low or they're too hot or whatever. So you got to make sure like each stage of volume addition is like on point, I guess.
Yeah. And I mean, that's the little things here and there I'm learning where, one might be way too high and one might be way too low, but in my cans, they sound equivalent. But when I go to edit it, I'm like, oh,
this isn't what I was hearing at all.
But then I go to edit it and I'm like, oh, okay, yeah, that's all. I can make it all work.
Yeah.
But it's just the little things, like when you're running around and you're trying to get everything set up, and the last thing is the audio, and you hit record on that, and then you check the levels, and you're like, oh yeah, I hear everything.
Mm-hmm.
You don't sit there and actually, like, at least for me, because I'm running around trying to get it all started and all that stuff, and might be most people too, is just you just have to make sure that the audio is set like as perfect as you can.
Yeah.
Because at the end of the day, when you go to edit or when you bring it to your editor, and they go to sync up everything, and the audio, it sounds like shit, it doesn't matter if there's a good shot.
It's like we can't use it.
Audio is going to be, if it's audio shit, then it's going to be unusable and it's going to turn out shitty.
Yeah.
So that was something I didn't know before a couple like years ago when I shot my short film. And I'm just happy I had the audio team that I did, because I kind of put that one on the back burner. And I was like, yeah, we'll just get whatever, and then they had a mixer, they had some lavs, and then they had a boom, and they were always booming in the background just for caution.
Yeah.
Because there was a lot of times where when I went to edit my short film, the lavs were blown out,
mm-hmm.
or some, like the batteries died midway through, even though they changed them in the morning. Like,
yep.
So it was audio at the end of the day did save my ass on that. So,
so you always got a boom, even though you got the lavs.
Yeah, there's a real appreciation in my end, for sure, for audio. So, and I don't know, on set I'm friends with everybody. So
yeah, man. Yeah.
I'm not part of that whole hating audio team or shit like that.
Like you said too, it's all just good fun busting balls.
Yeah, I mean it's still fun. It's still fun. And we all talk shit, and then I just hop into your guys' audio world. I'm like, hey, what's up?
Yeah, exactly, dude. Yeah, man, it's always a good time when you're on set, man.
Appreciate it. So going back into like what we were just talking about with our jobs and how crucial like the frequencies are, and making sure they're all, worked properly, and making sure the booms are good, and make sure you're not in the shot if you're booming and all that stuff. Like,
yes.
is your job personally stressful to you? Most days or some days or not at all?
No, not most days. Some days, but most of the time, I mean, I don't know. I'm usually, I try not to get stressed at work. I'm just like, we'll make it work one way or the other.
Yeah.
But I mean, I don't know. Yeah, sometimes it gets stressful. As you know, just like when you're on hour like 13, it's like, man.
Yeah.
But most of the time, I feel like audio usually keeps it pretty mellow, or I try to at least.
Yeah. I'm pretty happy to hear that so far everybody I've asked that question to has had the same answer.
Really?
Yeah. So most of them are like, yeah, that's somewhat stressful, but I try not to let it bring it, bring it in and bring it down. So it's nice to hear that, because I actually see quite a lot of people on set that are always freaked the fuck out,
stressing
all the time. And I personally try to make sure I avoid them at all costs.
Yeah, right. Like kind of like just rub off on you a little bit sometimes, but like, yeah, man. Or even just trying like, yo, man, it's cool. Don't worry. Yeah, it's gonna be fine. And
it's funny because it's in my opinion, it's either mostly the producers or the PAs.
Yeah.
So they're always stressing out.
Yeah, producers, they have a lot of stuff on their plate.
They have a lot of shit on their plate, but also at the same time, it's like, calm down.
Yeah.
And then PAs, like, it's like the end of the world to them. If something goes on, it's like, I'm going to get fired. It's like, dude, you're good.
You're good, man. If you're stressing this hard about it, you're probably all right.
As a PA, if you're already stressing about it, something like this big, and it's not that big of a deal, then it's just calm down a little bit.
You're probably overthinking it a whole lot.
Way too much. So that's good to hear that you also find the stresses of the job aren't really apparent.
Yeah, no. I mean, I don't know. I think it's just because I like what I do. I like the challenge.
I think that's the bottom line too. Is as long as you enjoy what you do for a living. I don't want to do the whole cliche of you never have to work a day in your life.
Yeah.
But yes, it's work, and sometimes it sucks. But it's nice to hear that most of the people I talk to so far have said it's not that bad when you're working, because you're on set hanging out with people you like.
Hopefully, right?
Hopefully.
That's also what makes a big difference too. If like the crew sucks, it's like, man, I don't know if I've been on too many crappy crews though. I think usually I like know somebody, or even if I don't know anybody, I usually there's usually cool people around.
Yeah, there's been a couple ones where I hated. I didn't like the crew I was with, but those are like those 2 or 3 day set jobs.
Yeah,
that aren't even from here, so it's not like it. Even again, at the end of the day, it's not like I put much pressure on that, because I'm never going to see him again.
Mm-hmm.
And if I do, then it doesn't matter. Like I don't have to sit there and hang out with them and talk to them, because I know they're going back to LA, and then if they do decide to come back, they're not going to remember.
Yeah, exactly.
So it's, at the end of the day, it's not that big of a deal. So it's nice. It's just nice to hear that people are most, like, crew wise, I would say, not production side, but crew wise, everybody's mainly chill, and like they're a lot of people are level headed.
I feel like you kind of have to be.
Yeah, especially if you're around the talent most.
Yeah.
Like, you got to make sure you're still the fly on the wall and level headed.
Yeah, definitely that. But like, I don't know, just like, I feel like it's always stressful on set, but you just got to kind of like ride with it.
Yeah. You got to know when to let it not be so serious to you.
Yeah.
And as long as you're doing your job right, then you're not worried.
For the most part. Where like, just manage it as best you can. Or even when there's like, like a crazy fire, it's just like, try not to, spread your panic. I feel like panic spreads. So just like, this is fine. Like, it's going to work out. And then usually you figure it out. Or if not, it's like, hey, it's not working.
Yeah.
Got to figure something else out.
Yeah. And it's nice that, so far, I mean, the jobs that we've worked on so far, at least that I can remember, we've been pretty chill about everything.
Yeah.
I mean, there's a couple days where I went off on people, but I already fucked up that day and was already having a bad day. And I tried not to let it come into work, but shit happens.
Yeah.
So, but most of the time I'm pretty chill.
You're super chill, dude.
Do you happen to have any like other activities you like doing besides like mixing, like in general, like not even recording or anything? Like,
I don't know, man. I play some games. I like playing music. I just recently like met a friend on through work who likes like jamming and stuff, and so we've kind of been like getting together and doing that. That's a lot of fun. I mean, I guess that still counts as recording, but
well, no, I mean, you're playing an instrument. What instrument do you play?
like synths, I guess, keys. I can do like
the keys,
the keyboard and bass, and
that's Sweet Ivory.
that's Sweet Ivory, man.
That's cool, man. I didn't know that.
Yeah,
that's awesome.
I'm not like, I'm not good at all, but it's fun. Like we had like, he's got like this crazy like modular synthesizer. I don't know if you know, it's all like, it's just straight up like signal routing, and it's just like voltage. It's not even like keys or anything. You're just like plugging shit in, and
one of those things.
yeah, dude, it's really cool.
Holy shit,
it's fun as hell.
That looks like super complicated.
Yeah, dude, he's a freaking whiz, man. He's been doing it for like 20 years, and he's just like, like I can like just have to like focus really hard on what he's talking about, because he's like, yeah, you just take this voltage out plus 5 volts and send it to like this LFO, and then you send it over here to this mixer, and like it does this. It's crazy. It's pretty cool though.
That is pretty cool. I've seen a couple videos on YouTube and shit on that, and I'm like, the fuck are they doing?
Right? Yeah, man. And then like it's pretty cool how like I can just be like, I could literally be playing anything on like a keyboard, and it sends into like, his little rig thing, and it'll like mathematically like meld it into whatever he's doing. It's really fun.
Yeah, that's fucking cool. I didn't know that thing, like I didn't know a machine like that was still around.
Yeah, man. It's a huge thing.
Pretty old machine though, right?
No, man, they're like making a whole bunch. Like these guys are like just making crazy little modules of like, this circuit does this thing.
Oh,
like,
so they're like bringing them out themselves then. Like
yeah,
they're making it themselves.
Mm-hmm.
That's really cool.
Other than that though, I don't know. Play some Fortnite here and there.
What do you play on?
On Switch and Xbox.
Is that cross-platform?
Yeah, dude.
Shit. I'd have to get your name out.
Wait, you get down on Fortnite?
Every now and then.
Yeah, dude,
every now and then I'll play with. I'll actually play. He probably doesn't want me saying this, but if I do play Fortnite, I usually play with Dunham.
Okay.
But I have a PS5. So
nice.
I think as long as we can cross stream, that'd be cross-platform.
Dude.
Yeah, I'd be down to play with you.
Hell yeah, dude. Yeah, I like started playing just because like me and my buddies, we used to game a lot back in the day, and now we kind of all live different places, so we'll just like get on and bullshit. And so that one's like, battle royales are pretty easy. You can just like talk for like 15 minutes and not really do anything.
Yeah.
But now I'm trying to get dubs.
There's a couple games I'll show you too. That Dunham and I are beginning into. Hopefully it's on the Xbox. If not, then it is what it is. It's that new vampire one, but it's like battle royale.
Oh, really? A vampire battle royale?
And they have these different type of vampires where they have their own special abilities.
Oh yeah.
But like you're set in, I think it's like Italy or something at night, and then you're all just dropped into this one little city, and you can pick up guns and all that shit, just like battle royale, just like Fortnite and all these other ones. But like to get health, you have to like suck on people's blood and kill
That's
them.
pretty cool, dude.
And then you can like kill them and gain their power. But it's fucking cool, dude. Like you can go invisible, you can do like a mega jump.
Really?
Like it's fucking crazy. So
yeah, you gotta send me that one.
If they send it on, if they have it on Xbox, then I'll definitely fucking play that one with you too.
Vampire battle royale. That sounds dope.
Yeah, I think it's called like Blood Masquerade or something like that.
Okay.
I forgot what it's called. They have like 2 different names for it.
We have to check that one out.
So do you have is there a job that you've had where you've like been most proud of?
I don't know, man. I'm pretty proud of all of them, I guess. They're like, I'm always like, I don't know, grateful for just to be a part of it, I guess.
Just to be in there.
Just to
and
be
a part
there,
of
man.
it.
Yeah. Yeah, I don't know. They're all pretty cool. What have I been like proud of?
Well, if you can't think of one you've been proud of and you're proud of all of them, then do you have one where it was like your like coolest one? You like the coolest one of on being on set then?
Coolest one. Oh, I don't know, man. They're all pretty cool. Like the biggest one.
Yeah, because I mean, I've been telling everybody, me personally, like Hell's Kitchen was a pretty. Being on Hell's Kitchen was pretty fucking badass one.
Yeah, I would say probably that one. That was like my first. I was like, holy crap, this is
like an
show.
actual.
Yeah, dude,
show.
this is a TV show, man.
Yeah.
Yeah, that was pretty cool. I was yeah, I definitely did some learning on that show for sure.
Yeah, me too. That was an extremely cool job.
Yeah, man.
Just meeting Gordon was cool.
Hell yeah, right.
And it's funny because like I'm always bringing it up, but it's true. Like that was probably the coolest one I've had.
Yeah.
So that, and then like the other Ramsey show I was on, Next Level Chef, and all that stuff. So it's and the fact that it was union. So
right. Yeah, that was what like pushed me into it. That was cool.
So,
are you part of it?
So here's the thing with me, is yes, I am union. I'm in the IATSE, but I'm not in the camera IATSE. Like I'm not in LA, so I'm not 600.
Just 720.
I'm 720 out here, which, in my opinion, I think in my personal opinion, I think I just need to try to transfer to 600.
Yeah.
Because there's been a lot of jobs where it sucks, but it's true. There's been a lot of jobs so far that have been union and they called me to work. And I've said yes and I'm in the union, but then I get called back like 2 days later where they're like, yeah, we can't use you because 600 is taking over.
That's so lame.
Like they're taking over the majority of it. So like they're the ones that are in charge of the hiring.
Yeah.
So they're only hiring 600, even though, they're shooting here in Vegas, and in Vegas 720 is local. So I mean, I get what they're saying, because technically 720, in my opinion, is like a blanket union.
Yeah.
To where you can be a carpenter one day and an operator one day and then an AV tech one day. You're not set in one specific department, as opposed to in LA and New York and all that stuff. 600 is strictly camera.
Yeah.
And then what was it?
695.
695 is audio.
Yeah.
So they're all IATSE, but it's in their own department. So yeah, there's been a couple times in the union where I've been called in and they're like, yeah, we want to hire you. You're union. It's fine. It doesn't matter what union you're in. And then a couple days later, they're like, yeah, we got to let you go because we can't hire you.
Yeah, that's annoying.
I do want to transfer, but it's a shit ton of money.
Because I know, well, too, like you used to get hours working a 720 job. If you were like 600 to 695, it would count. But the last couple that I've done, and people that are those unions, they don't like get it transferred anymore or something.
Yeah, I heard there was just a whole thing where like they don't qualify.
Yeah.
Because technically 720 is not allowed to be working in film. It's only supposed to be stage stuff.
Oh, really? Like
on the strip. So I don't know what's true, but all I know is like 720, like if you want to be in a good, I guess if you want to start out being in the union, 720 is good. Because at least they give you like there's a couple classes there that are mandatory for you to become in the union, and they teach you a lot. But if you're trying to do something other than like staging, anything in staging, so if you want to do camera operator or sound mixer or like editor or even like an editor or tech, like I guess I would stay away from 720, just because 720 they're only gonna like they're good with stage stuff, so they're good with like carpenter, wardrobe, like pyrotechnics, AV tech, stuff like that. So if you're trying to get in the show or movie part, it's not a good idea. But
yeah, Yeah, the same like when they would call, like, they call for whatever because you're on their list. Yeah. And I would be like, yeah, I'm available. And they're like, okay, it's a carpenter job. I'm like, I'm not a carpenter, man. I don't know how to do that stuff.
Yeah.
Like, well, and then they always just get mad at me and hang up.
Yeah, exactly.
Like, damn.
I've had to deal with that a lot.
Like, all right.
But I mean, I guess now, like, there's a point where like you have to tell them to take your name off those lists.
Off the carpenter specific. I mean, but there's not specific list, right? So
exactly.
You either get called for that or don't get called at all.
So because I was one of the first ones that took my camera operator test and tested out.
Mm-hmm.
So I didn't have to take the camera operator test. I was just able to pass that test, and I have my whatever they call letter or whatever.
Oh, nice.
But it didn't really help because they never call me for it. Like, because every time I'd call and sign in, they'd always sign me for like, do you want to do any rigging or carpenter?
Like,
and I'm like, I don't do any of that shit. And I was like, you can see on my profile that this is what I do. All the classes I took, that's what I do. And they keep calling, and then they got to the point where they're like, okay, you have to physically either come down to the union hall or you have to call us and talk to this person and tell them that you don't want to be on any of these lists, that you only do this one. And I was like, all right, cool. Then who is it? And they're like, well, they're on vacation. And I was like,
the thing is,
I was like, God damn it. I was like, I'm never going to get to this. So, but I have another friend. I have another friend that was just joined the union, and yeah, she's been telling me that she's been getting like a shit ton of cam op work, and she likes it, but that's not necessarily where she wants to go.
Oh, really?
And I was like, what the fuck?
And they're calling her for it?
And I was like, oh, whatever. That's fine. I was like, I'm just going to have to figure it out and try to get them off my, get my name off the list of all the other things first.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah, it's just like a whole process to where they make it like so...
Yeah,
like difficult, or it's just like, well, never mind then.
Yeah, I mean, I think they just do it towards the people who like the idea of being able to do it, to hop into whatever department they want.
Yeah,
which is fine. I mean, more power to them. But if you're goal oriented on one department and one specific job, then you're obviously gonna have to go to the job that you want to go to.
Yeah,
or the union you want to.
It's like, I'm not gonna like hurt myself for somebody else like doing it. Job I don't know how to do.
Exactly. It's weird, but I'm gonna get there. What union are you in?
I'm like a 720 yellow card.
Okay, so you know what I'm talking about a lot then.
Yeah,
okay.
Definitely.
Yeah, the whole yellow card and green card thing.
Yeah, I'm like, I don't know. As long as I can work them, I'm cool, I guess.
Yeah. I do you have any thoughts on joining 695?
I wanted to, until like I started hearing and seeing that people like aren't getting their hours if they work union jobs here. Because like I don't work in LA or anywhere enough to be able to get hours for that anyway.
Hours, yeah.
Because that's what I wanted to do. Because I was like, well, if you can work enough union jobs here, it counts for 695. Then why not get some bennies and stuff? But I don't think it does anymore. Or
yeah, that's weird. I don't understand why that would happen. I wonder if they're doing that with 600 people. That's gonna suck.
Yeah, right. Like that's kind of dumb. Why isn't it all just IATSE?
Yeah.
But
that's definitely gonna suck. I hope that doesn't happen with 600. I mean, I'm sure it will. It'll take advantage over that and go over. But I mean, that's the thing too. Is me. I do want to join 600, but like the money to join is a lot.
Yeah.
I know they can do payment plans and stuff like that, but it's just, it sucks. Like, because when you live here, you're not getting, constant work like you would be in LA.
Yeah, exactly.
So you're not, you're kind of a little bit worried about the monthly payment of, and then you're not even working, you know what I mean? So especially, I mean, I guess it's just for me, where it's just a little scary of putting a down payment like that down, and it's a union. It's like not like a truck payment. Where
yeah, right, exactly.
Like, I'm gonna be driving this every day, and as a union, you're like, oh, I might get called.
Yeah, and it's like, yeah, exactly. And if they're not counting, it's like, well, I might get called for a job in LA or somewhere. It's like, yeah, It's not worth your time and money.
It's definitely a hard pill to swallow, and it's a lot to think about. So I'm still thinking about it.
But it would be cool. I would like health insurance one day, you know.
That'd be pretty nice.
Right? Like, man, I feel a little safe now.
Yeah, that's the other thing most people don't know. is not 100% of them, but most some to most people that work in production and they're in the film industry. If you're not union, most of them don't have health insurance. So that is a little crazy too. Instead of you being a regular 9 to 5 where you possibly get some type of health insurance, being in this type of industry, you have to go get your own.
You got to go get your own. You get taxed more, and you're completely on your own.
Yeah. I love what I do.
That's what I was saying. It's like I feel like to be in this industry, you got to kind of really just love it, man.
Yeah. That's all I can think about is just making sure you love it. I mean, there's definitely cons, but if it's something you love, then everything else should not bug you too much.
Yeah, man.
So
you just make it work one way or another, you know.
Yeah.
Like this is dope, dude.
Oh, thanks. I
Super
appreciate
cool.
it.
Yeah, man.
It's finally almost there to where I want it.
Yeah, dude. This garage sounds great.
The garage. Yeah, I'm still not done with that, but I just got a couple more things to put on that garage door, and I think I'm solid.
Dude, it sounds nice, man. I like it.
The fact that I've crudded all the corners.
Natural bass traps, dude.
Yeah.
Get those reflections out of here.
The only thing that sucks is when it rains so far that I found out. You can hear the water hitting the metal pretty bad. Other than that, though, I think it's good. I'm just, working through it.
Hell yeah, dude.
Do you happen to have your own gear?
I don't. I'm like trying to slowly build it up. I have like a little mixer that I was using for like music stuff, but it's a MixPre 10.2.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
So I'm like, it can work, like with what we do. So I just you trying to use that and just trying to slowly like buy some equipment.
Yeah, getting it down. I mean, that's in my personal opinion, that's the way to go when going with gear and like as opposed to renting.
Yeah.
It's, in my personal opinion, I think it's always better to get your own.
Mm-hmm.
Because, you got to rely on people, not even with them being assholes or anything. It's just the fact that, you got to make sure that the timing is right.
Yeah.
That they even have it available for you.
Yep.
And, it's just the time and the money and all that stuff. So in the long run, I think it's better to just try to at least invest in yourself. And, once you get your own gear, then you can be the one that rents it out. If people are looking for it, you know what I mean?
Yeah, I like to just have like just one kit for myself, not like trying to go all crazy with it. But yeah, just for that reason, like, hey, you want to do this quick job? It's like, oh yeah, I got my stuff. I don't need to, go make sure it's available and then go get it. And it's just a whole thing. And you get paid for the kit too. Yeah.
Instead of like, it's like, I'll take this job. And then you're like fucking calling like 4 people and you're like, hey, you got this?
Yeah, exactly. Piecing it together.
So yeah, it's always good to have your own gear. I'm personally tired of renting it out, because that's the one thing that never like works out for me is the timing.
Yeah, with other people and stuff. That is what's kind of cool about people in this industry too, though, is like everybody seems always willing to kind of like help each other out. Yeah. As far as like, like you said, like you got to call like 4 people, but like oh, hey man, can I borrow like this little piece or whatever? It's like, yeah, if they have it and if they have the time.
Yeah. That is the pro of it. Yeah. We do work in an industry where the people that do have their own gear are usually pretty chill and nice about it.
Yeah. Yeah. And with like,
have it.
And with like information too, like everybody's always seems to be willing to like teach you something if you want to learn it. Yeah. For the most part. Just got to find the right time, I guess.
Got to find that time and got to meet the right people, and you just got to click. I think, in my opinion.
Yeah, that's true. That's very true. It seemed like, like everybody like, oh, hey man, like, how I forgot how to do this thing. Like, how do we do it? Like, how do you do it? It's like, oh yeah, here you go. It's like, oh sweet.
Yeah.
Just kind of like, there's no like, oh, if you don't know, dude, like, you shouldn't be here.
You shouldn't be in this industry.
Yeah. It's like, come on, man.
Yeah.
So that's something that I like about it too, is like everybody's pretty willing to teach and, show people the way and stuff.
Yeah.
Like, like I was saying, I think just like hard work. Like I've known like PAs who just go to like audio just because like, they're hard workers, and the soup's like, yo, that dude works really hard, or that person works really hard. And it's like, let me teach you some stuff if you want to be on our team.
Yeah. And it's super nice too, because I think I grew up, and I was telling a couple people in the other episodes, I was telling them that like I think I'm stuck in the middle of a generation of where there are people that are willing to help, and then there's people that aren't willing to help because they're afraid that I'm going to take their job away from them.
Yeah.
So I think obviously I tended to hang towards the people that were willing to teach me stuff.
Yeah.
So it is always nice it's always nice finding those people that are out there in that world of the departments that we want to be in, and showing them.
Mm-hmm.
So like, yeah, because there's been a couple PAs that popped up around me. They're like, hey, can you teach me how to do some of that stuff? I'm like, yeah. I'm not afraid of them taking my job.
Right, exactly.
It's if you're genuinely wanting to learn something, yeah, I can show you. It's not a big deal, as long as I have the time.
Yeah, like if you're that worried about your job being stolen, it's I don't know. Like,
I feel like, in my opinion, I don't want to talk shit, but I feel like that has something to do with you.
Yeah, exactly. It's like,
so
I welcome the challenge.
Everybody's here because they want to be here. You know what I mean?
Yeah, man. Yeah, especially like I mean, that's how you get your foot in too, is doing that, and like, find where you fit in. And
those are the starting points.
Yeah, exactly.
You
it's
want
like,
to be a PA?
Yeah.
So
and it's like, oh, you want to like not be a PA anymore and learn this? Sure, I'll teach you whatever. Like,
Yeah, whatever we can do to help you out.
Yeah.
Of getting out of the PA.
Exactly.
So yeah, I remember my years. They're horrible. Some of them were cool, but most of them were horrible. But I think I just got one more question for you, and we can wrap up.
Oh yeah.
Do you happen to have any advice for someone starting out in the business or trying to get into the audio world? And what would you say to them?
I don't know. Just work hard and learn some gain staging and some signal flow and gain staging. Man,
those are the big twos.
Yeah, you learn those two. You're pretty much, you can navigate your way from there, and just work hard, man. I'd say like, just keep
grinding,
keep doing it, man. Keep grinding. Like, just keep annoying people. I mean, not like annoying people, but just be that.
Be persistent to the point where they remember you.
Yeah, exactly. Don't if you fall, it's fine. You can get back up and just keep going, man. And you gotta work hard and love it. And
brush yourself off.
Yeah, because it's easy to get. Man, I thought I was one of the people who thought they got fired after the first day of Hell's Kitchen too. It was like, oh my god.
Oh really?
Yeah, dude. It was a rough first day, but no, they were like, oh, you're cool, man. You're fine. Cool.
Yeah, what are you worried about?
Yeah, exactly.
Cool. Well, man, I appreciate you taking your time another day to come out here and help me out.
Yeah, dude.
I hope to possibly get you back on and do a little bit more in depth. But yeah, like I said, I appreciate it.
That'd be cool, man. Yeah, thank you for having me, man. This is pretty dope, dude. I've literally never done anything like this, so thanks a lot.
Well, I'm glad I can be here to help you out with your
guide me
podcast.
through. Yeah, dude.
All right, man. Thank you.
Yeah, dude.